views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and participants, and do not necessarily reflect the official policies or positions of City World Media, LLC, or its affiliates. All shows are produced with full participant consent. City World Media does not claim ownership of any third-party music featured and uses all tracks only with proper permissions or licenses granted by their respective rights holders. City World Media operates in accordance with fair use and digital broadcast guidelines on all platforms. From my city to your world, we are City World. Thank you for watching.
What's good? What's good? What's goody, man? It's your buzzing cousin Ghost Boogie. No longer buzzing, it's just your Unc Ghost Boogie, but we'll get into that later on, man. Tonight's episode is a special one. This is tonight on B-Boys Underground. We will continue on with our DJ series, and tonight we have the one and only DJ Just Delicious, a female DJ out of the Bay with a story that runs far deeper than, any type of decks that you may have, controller decks, turntables, or any of that other good stuff, right? Her roots, man, they start in Birmingham, Alabama, with the family ties to Brooklyn, New York, and a musical foundation shaped by the people around her before life forced her to grow up fast. After moving to Miami as a child, music became more than sound. It became family. It became a shelter. It became the thing she held on to when her life took things no child should ever have to carry. Her journey moves through survival, healing, motherhood, autism advocacy, and a long season of putting her children first. Then later in life, after her daughter handed her a controller, she taught herself how to DJ and found a new way to speak through music. Tonight, we're not here to reduce her story to pain. We're here to honor the full person behind the music, the mother, the healer, and most importantly, the survivor and the DJ, the woman who turns sound into a home. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, B-boys and girls of all ages, it's my privilege and honor to welcome aboard the one and only DJ Just Delicious. What's goody, fam?
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We are so excited to have you here, fam. And so everybody knows, actually, what we say is, why don't you tell everyone who that was if they don't know, because we got some new heads, that might not know that song, right? And who that is and what that was and how important what they just saw was.
Well, that was Richie Havens performing at the original Woodstock concert.
In 69?
Yeah. And he's my best friend's dad. My best friend is Rachel Marco Havens, and that's her dad. And the song is just, an anthem. And it means so much more because my friend's dad, I didn't even know how famous Richie Havens was when we met and we became friends. And I realized, later, because I was very young. And it's so profound to realize, like, she had that influence in her life growing up. So, yeah, it's a really special song. And thank you for playing that. It means a lot.
Well, so the folks know that he actually opened up. He was the very first act, and he opened Woodstock, the original Woodstock in 69, with that song. That was the very first song that was played at Woodstock. the very first thing in the very first performance at Woodstock was freedom. And now more than ever, with the way the world is these days and how everything's uncertain, um, and we don't draw political lines here because I don't believe in political lines. I believe that they're all the same fucking thing underneath the same umbrella, just telling different lies that's all leading to the same truth, which is F you, pay me. But that's another story, man. Like, what I want to know is let everybody know who you are, where you're from, and who you repping.
Well, I am DJ Just Delicious,
Whoop, whoop.
and I, AKA Jody. People call me JD, Just Delicious, just I.
Just all right. You're more than all right.
Sometimes. But I am, I was born in Birmingham, Alabama. When I was 9, my family moved to Miami. And when I was 17, so when I was 15, I went to massage school. And when I was 17, I drove to New York to Woodstock to live in this Tibetan Buddhist monastery. And I lived in there and I cooked in the kitchen with this woman named Stephanie. And her daughter is Rachel, Richie's daughter. And we became really good friends. And she was stoked because when her mom was up there, it was kind of like, oh man. And then she met this like young person, and we would smoke weed. We would do, we would hang. And um, I met all of her friends that she grew up with in Woodstock, and her best friends are these twin girls, Shayla and Larry Lang, who are the daughters of Michael Lang, who produced Woodstock.
Wow. So,
I
wow.
mean, I didn't know any of that shit until way later. Like, you
Yeah.
know, I was really young. I was like 17. And at the time, I was, uh, you know, I didn't know a lot about a lot. But
Mm.
I was really into Ricky Lee Jones at the time. You know Ricky Lee
Okay.
Jones?
Yes.
And Rachel loved Ricky Lee Jones the way I loved Ricky Lee Jones, which wasn't like something you saw every day. And once she was going to be able to take me to see Ricky Lee Jones at Carnegie Hall
Wow.
with her husband, their baby. We were going to sit with them, and my car got fucking towed from Hell's Kitchen in New York
Oh,
City. And that was, oh, sorry about that.
you're
Am
good.
I in?
Yeah, you're in. You're good. You're good. You're good.
Okay,
You're
good.
good.
And so we really bonded on that kind of thing, but it turned out I didn't know until way later that Michael Lang also was Ricky Lee Jones' manager and Joe Cochran. And he was really significant in hip hop because I think it's More Than a Woman, his song
Oh, you're
was
you're talking about Joe Cocker. Yeah.
Cochran.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No,
Johnny
you got.
Cochran, Joe
Yeah.
Cochran.
Yeah. I know what you get ready to talk. California Love sample
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything.
Yeah, so it's kind of like all full circle.
Woman,
But who I'm
woman.
repping?
So
I'm
hold on.
repping the
Who's
Bay
related?
Area,
Who's related
Oakland.
to? Who's related to Joe Cocker?
Well, Michael Lang was his manager.
Got you. Okay.
He was his manager, so um, it was just interesting realizing later on when Tupac and that song and everything was coming full circle. Like, oh my God, these are my people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Absolutely, man. That's dope. So here, as we always do about this time, I still need to sample that daggone thing. I do want to give a big shout out to G Dash Fresh is up in the house. He's our co-host. He couldn't join us tonight because he's working day and night, like Michael Jackson.
Hi, G
But
Dash.
we got the one and only DJ E Boogie in the house. Treat yourself. We got Shelly Cakes. Everybody's in the house. Please make sure
What's
you
up, my
follow.
people?
We had DJ E Boogie on last week or a week before. I'm losing time, but we had DJ E Boogie on last week. That's right. That was last Tuesday, I think. Follow that episode, all of the previous episodes, and this is the only time I'm gonna ask everybody to hit that like, follow, subscribe button, on notification bell. We do this live every single Wednesday, and then also we do it Monday through Sunday. If we've got artists, if I've got artists, I'm getting them on, and we are getting it scheduled. But you can check all of our previous episodes at B-Boys Underground on YouTube. We're also broadcasting live again on our Facebook page. We have two different platforms on Facebook. We have a Facebook group and a Facebook page. B-Boys Underground. Check us out on there. And yeah, so that's the last time I'm going to say that. But what we have to ask before we talk about anything else, now, tell us, what is your first memory that you have of hip hop music, but preferably hip hop, specifically hip hop? And what I need you to do is be as descriptive as visual. Tell us who's in the room, what's the air, what's the aroma, what if it's an outside, indo or outdo, whatever it is, we need to know. And tell us why that memory was so important to you that got you from that moment all the way to right here in the present right now.
Well, it was Run DMC. And I remember, first there was so I grew up listening to a lot of Motown and funk and soul, um and Joni Mitchell, James Taylor, Earth, Wind and Fire, a lot of that. And then I heard Run DMC and it was over. It was like my spirit just was, you know, it transformed into something else.
Yes.
Because, and I remember I was in the car with my sister, this giant Buick Regal, like yellow car,
Hell yeah.
and came on the radio like fifth grade.
Which song? Do you remember?
Well, I think it was it might have been, I want to say it was before the King of Rock. So it wasn't Walk This Way. And I'm not sure, but it might have been Sucker MCs. But it was
Okay.
on the radio, and I was just like, what? And I remember um, just feeling something, just feeling something. And then, of course, I got super into Queen Latifah. And,
Yes.
when I drove from Florida to New York, the only tape I had in the car was Queen Latifah's first album.
Mm.
You know, it was just Queen Latifah and Run DMC. They were really, and also the Beastie Boys, Public Enemy, sixth grade. EPMD came into my life, and but Run DMC, Dougie Fresh, and Queen Latifah are like the roots of my existence.
Well, hey man, that's dope, man. I love, Queen Latifah for sure. I love all of the folks that you named, of course. But Queen Latifah, it would be a blessing and an honor, and we're gonna get her on here one day and to be able to interview her because she is the queen, man, and especially with the flavor unit and her whole camp, everything that she had, that's dope, man.
And you know who else really inspired me?
Who's that?
Africa Bambaataa.
I got you.
Um, he, in a random situation, like my life is kind of like Forrest Gump, isms everywhere and all the time.
I
And
feel
in
you. I
this like
feel you.
random event, I ended up in a place where Africa Bambaataa was DJing.
Yes.
And it was just so cool. Like he was playing the Supremes and all the shit that I love, but it was all the people there were like people who listen to EDM and very like mushroom oriented type taking crowd.
Yeah,
And it was just one of those moments where like it changed my life. It really changed my life.
I got you. Yeah, man. Like, do you know about the allegations that he has going on right
I
now?
do, actually. I
What's
do.
your opinion on that?
Well,
Like, does that change how you feel about him, or
it
does
it
it?
did. It really did. It changed the way I feel about him because, essay against children is serious, but there's something I will say. You know, I'm a deep person, and one of the things that I've, kind of looked into is like mental illness, and
Mhm.
pedophilia on a level is one of those things where I feel like it's almost like brain damage. It's one of those things that it can't be fixed. It's like very rare that you will see a person who has that condition actually own up to it. And one of the things that I admire about Africa Bambaataa was that he did. He actually did. He went to the Zulu Nation and he admitted his wrongdoing. And it's not that I'm, a fan of that,
Yeah.
but and I'm not excusing what he did or anything like that, but it's still his artistry speaks to me. Um and I'm hoping that he's trying to get better from that.
And that answers kind of the question where I was gonna go with that next is like it's difficult. I feel uncomfortable playing certain artists because of, news and things that's happened in the news. I mean, i.e. Kanye West, R.
Es-
Kelly.
Especially when they're writing songs that are like, you were a preteen.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole "Do you have your passport?" You want to come to America? Shit, like, but no.
You know what though? You know what's a weird thing, and this is one of the things I want to actually speak to something about your um the interview show and just who you are in general. Like, you have this major hip hop, especially the underground artists, background, but you also have a very conscious uh, energy and spirit. And now that I'm much older,
I
I
appreciate you.
try to reach for understanding as deeply as I can. Um, especially with like Michael Jackson, like there was a point
Hmm.
where I was really judging, and then I realized like how dark the world can be. And I heard this interview from Terrence Trent D'Arby,
Mm.
um, and
Shout out to him, man. I love playing some of his shit. I throw that
dude,
on "Wishing Well" and "Sign Your Name." Pop those in the middle of a mix, and you always get a reaction.
dude, that guy is like the motherfucking. He's like the second coming of Jesus. I ain't even joking. Like he's some advanced motherfucker, like not like the rest of us, but he was speaking on it, and you know the music industry can be really dark. And one of
Yes.
the things that I noticed was like I deepened into was just like that understanding that sometimes they can puppet people too. Everything isn't as just as easy as, this is that, this is this.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
not
thinking
black and
maybe
white.
Michael Jackson was like, you know, brought into a super darkness and like perpetuated in a way that he couldn't escape. That's one, thing. I, I
Yeah.
I like to think of things in three ways:
Okay.
the way I think, the way maybe the other person is thinking, and then a neutral thought that, might be different than both of ours.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, salute to that. And it it's I always feel, with the way that the world is today and how reactionary or overreactionary it is. It's like, man, you don't want to piss people off by playing, certain songs.
I don't play R. Kelly. You know what? I didn't play Chris Brown, and I got people unfollowing me when I said that shit. But it was really because he just irritates me. Um,
Well, I mean, that's musical taste, and that's allowed too,
I mean, I
because
do like
I have
maybe a
rules.
couple of Chris Brown's shit,
Yeah.
but I ain't like, oh, I'm in love with Chris Brown.
Yeah.
But the thing that irritated me was I heard an interview with him where he said that he threw his underwear away every single time he had to change his drawers instead of washing them. He's like, I'm just like, that's just fucking wasteful.
He said he threw his underwear away. That's
That's too much
hilarious to
money.
me.
You got too much money.
That's wild. That's wild. Because he didn't know how to wash his draw. Wash your drawers out there, people, man. Come on now.
But let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you a story. So when I was 13, I used to go to these punk rock shows in Miami at this place called the Cameo Theater, and I saw the Red Hot Chili Peppers there. And after the show, this bouncer came up to me and he was like, "The Red Hot Chili Peppers would like to meet you." And I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
I
Like,
was
what
like, "All
up?
right." So they brought me up and backstage, and this was when Halal was still alive, and they were like, "Do you want to go to our hotel room with us?" And I was like, "No." And the thing is, like, you don't know who anybody is. You know what I'm saying? You just you just don't. You know? That's the
Yeah.
thing about celebrity shit. Like, people will be jocking somebody who has the worst vibration,
Yes.
But I try to separate the artistry from
The music.
m-
I get you.
my
Yeah.
judgment of that person or whatever.
I like to enjoy music and art by itself and separate the people. You know, I can't deal with, anybody playing or writing songs called, HH. when Kanye did that, I was like,
I
man,
can't
damn.
do Kanye anymore. Like, it
He,
has to be like in the closet when nobody's around. I actually was listening to College Spirit
the
one day in the
first
car.
three are epic. Those are like almost
Dude,
perfect albums.
I'm so mad that he did that
Yeah, man.
because I fucking loved Kanye. But the whole thing about hating Jews, wanting to see them all die, you know. And again, it comes to that spirit of like wanting to understand where he's coming from, but also I ain't gonna buy a ticket for Kanye. You know what I'm saying? Nah.
Yeah, man. I get it. I get it. And the thing that I want to do is let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning. Now, growing up in Birmingham with your family roots in Brooklyn, what sounds were around you before you even understood like music as a culture? I know you mentioned that you were like pretty diverse and open, but what was like the main thing that you were hearing nonstop?
So, my brother and sister were born in Brooklyn, and in 1969, my parents. I keep drinking whiskey because I have cotton mouth, and I don't want to get up and get
I
water.
don't know if you're gonna make it through the end of the show. Let's hope.
You're gonna notice like the change. But so I had a brother and sister who were born in Brooklyn in 1969. My Spanish Jewish family decided to move to fucking Birmingham, Alabama. Um, and so my my whole life is music. I remember being a baby, like my brother and sister and I. We used to act out. You know that song, "Put Your Head on My Shoulder."
Yeah.
So we would like act out the routine to the
Mhm.
the words to the song.
Yeah.
And when I was like 6 years old for my birthday, my brother and sister gave me a record player and 5 albums. It was like,
How old were you?
I was like 6.
Nice.
But before that, my real memories, even of just like my childhood, was looking at records, laying down on my stomach and just like reading the lyrics. I really loved a record if it had the lyrics. And
Yes.
my brother and sister were really into music. They loved uh, Robert Palmer, like early Robert Palmer, Sneaking Sally Through the Alley. My sister loved um, like Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, and the Supremes were my favorite. So when I was really young in Birmingham, I would get on the coffee table with my hairbrush and I would sing to everybody. And in order to like stay up late when I had to go to bed, I would like sing from my bed really loud. And so it was like Donna Summers, The Supremes, Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder, Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Bee
Say it.
Gees,
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
you know, Joni Mitchell and James Taylor were also, and yeah.
That AM gold.
Dude,
With
I
that.
fucking love James Taylor. Like, James Taylor.
My parents listened to a lot of James Taylor back in the day too.
You know what's crazy? He was on the same record label as the Beatles,
I know.
that Green Apple.
Yeah, Apple Records, man.
Yeah, he's a motherfucker. He's one of those people, from the South who didn't, a white person who didn't hold that redneck, you know, belief
Yeah.
system.
Yeah, just ignorance. And I mean, because ignorance comes on in all shapes and sizes and all shades and colors and across the board. I mean, if you want to look at racism, you can look across to the oldest continent and there's racism on there, and it's racism against different factions of the same race. You know what I mean? Like, so it's been the shit's been going on since the world's been spinning and people been hating on people. And I just think about it as hate and ignorance, right? Because I tell my children this every single time I have an opportunity to, is that I don't care who they are, what they look like, or what they do. You sit down and talk to people that are different than you, make friends that are good friends that are different than you. But even if you sit down and talk to somebody that has a completely different opinion, they tell you that the moon is purple and the sun is gray, you know what I mean? Like, and you'd be like, what? And what I'm trying to say is that if you sit down and have a conversation with them, you don't have to agree with the person, but you can listen and you can understand where that person is coming from and maybe understand why they think that way, even though you may not condone it. And you'll be a better person. You'll have more game, more wisdom, more insight into understanding, like, oh, this is maybe why they feel this way. And I disagree, and you can have a civil, I miss civil discourse. I miss the days of when people could agree to disagree, as long as there's no ignorance or hate involved. And, that's the thing. So I grew up, embracing and have always embraced, people that are different than me. I don't look, you do you, I'll do me. As long as you're not hurting me and mine, nothing but love, right? So, and
Well,
that's what needs to happen.
Birmingham, Alabama,
I already know. Shit.
it has a different level of crazy. Like when I would go to the park when I was a little girl, like the Ku Klux Klan, the real Ku Klux Klan, not no Kanye, like they would be there, you know, terrifying people. I remember one time, me, my brother, my father, we went to this park and they were swinging this mannequin head, a black mannequin head around, and we left, but one of the things that's so beautiful, I will say about me, literally, is that so my family. So I didn't know, I never, as a young person, I never knew like we were just coming out of like Jim Crow and all of the stuff that was post slavery
Mm-hmm.
shit, um but I was aware enough to ask my brother, like, why are because black people were not treated the same. But at the same time, like, nobody in my family ever talked about black people in a way that was like them or those or
Mm-hmm.
the N word was not allowed. One time I remember in early elementary in Birmingham, a girl came home from school and she used the N word. And I remember my father saying, like, we don't use that word. And I didn't even know what the word meant.
Yeah.
And I asked my brother when I was about, 5 years old, like, why are black people? We went and took someone home, and it was like shanty town, like kind of like if you think of Jamaica,
Mm-hmm.
like cardboard roofs, 10 walls. And I was like, why did she have to live like that? I was 5. And my brother tried to explain, and he bought me a book about Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey. And something about my life and the trauma that happened later helped me just not give a fuck about, like, just love everybody. I
Hell
don't really
yeah.
I never really gave a fuck about shit like that or thought in those terms.
Yeah.
So but yeah, but Birmingham's also very segregated. Like, we lived with other Spanish Jewish people, and we were segregated with those people. So I wasn't really around the whites, like, that
Yeah.
were like kind of like what I'm referring to is like the rednecks.
Yep.
And the thing is, like, I can love a redneck as long as they're conscious enough to not be like, I hate,
Yeah.
people of this type, gay, this, that,
Just
whatever.
ignorance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel you. Like, it's good to that someone, you have folks around you that were able to, you know, guide and steer and help you from an early age realize and point out, like, hey, this is a problem, this ain't how we roll, and this is not how you should roll, right? So that's cool.
Yep.
Now,
I'm very lucky. So my brother, Mark, my sister was Gina. They both died. My brother died when I was in 4th grade, and my sister died when I was in 5th grade. And they were kind of like my parents. They raised me, um, and they both committed suicide. And from that, and then my mom went into like a mental hospital. And so I lived alone in this apartment when I was in 7th grade, and I would drive my mother's Toyota to school at like 13. I shaved my hair into a mohawk, and really rebelled. And music, like you were talking about earlier, really became my family. And it's funny, I became a DJ way later in life, but when that happened, I realized that every experience in my life was leading up to that moment. You know?
yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm so sorry to hear, what
It's
you had to deal
okay.
with and go through, but I know that was, I mean,
Heavy.
oh my God. I mean, to
So
be
heavy.
abandoned at 6th grade, you
Fourth
were
and fifth and sixth.
fourth, fifth, sixth. So sixth, you're 11, fifth, you're 10, fourth, you're
9.
9. Yeah. So, I mean,
It
my
was
God.
heavy.
So I know that in itself, as someone who has dealt with and deals with uh,
Depression,
and
suicide,
childhood trauma and
childhood trauma.
just things that environmentally were not safe and all types of shit, man. And I get it, and it does. You find yourself clinging to something, and myself, I same thing. Music was everything for me, and just because it's Stevie Wonder's birthday, I've said it before, but the very first album that I picked out of my father's record collection, because like you were saying, when you were a child, you would just look through the albums and stuff like that and read the lyrics along with the song, and look at the the pictures and everything, and just take in the whole album. uh that was, I got a Fisher Price record player at 3 4, and I got to pick out a couple albums out of his collection. The first album that I reached for was the double album, Songs in the Key of Life, with the extra 45,
That
and I
that
rolled with it.
is sacred.
Yes. So we did a set earlier tributing and happy birthday Stevie Wonder. He is an OG and was a big inspiration on Prince. If we didn't have Stevie Wonder, we wouldn't have necessarily had Prince the way we had Prince, and that's dope.
And you know what's really funny? So when my sister died, as you know, the from that album was just on repeat. It was I had the sports Walkman, and that
mm,
song, was all
the
I could
yellow
listen
one.
to. It healed me. It healed me. You know. You
Which song
know,
was it?
as
As oh
round the
my
world.
no yo that's oh don't stop that's the what I listen, that was the last song that I played, because like today, because that one right there, like I get in my emotions, like when I'm listening to it, there's always something inside that wells up. Like that song is the song for me. Like, man, like, ugh.
And
So
Stevie's a prophet. I mean, the stuff he, ha, sings about, wrote about, you know, 40 years ago, we're still perpetuating, you
yes.
know, that disenfranchised, marginalized, you know,
Yeah.
thing. Last night I was in I was just listening to Miss Garcia's panel, and
Much love to Miss Garcia.
it's just so interesting because the black experience is so fucked up. Like I married a black dude and didn't know that, you know, people would accuse him of stealing, call him the N word, be so fucked up. And I'm like, damn, it's hard, for black people. And then, I was listening to somebody mention about um another person, and he was talking from a white perspective. He was like, I hear people talking about racism, and you're not, this or that. But like, you know, you could be the president, you could be Stevie Wonder. If you have black skin, your experience is going to be completely different than yours and mine, you know. And unless you really decide to deepen into it and feel, and be empathetic and compassionate, and recognize, like, fucking read Maya Angelou's, shit,
Hmm.
understand some shit, you know. But it's so I hear people say stuff, and I think, we just have so much to learn from people like Stevie Wonder and motherfucking Marvin Gaye and shit like that.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. You know, when you look back at yourself as a young girl trying to stay standing, what do you understand about that young girl now that you didn't understand then?
Hmm. Well, one of the things that I learned was, like, my brother and sister protected me from a lot of the dysfunction of my parents. And so I wasn't aware and up until the point that they died, which was like, what the fuck? Uh like, why did y'all do that? But then I started to understand that my parents had a lot of dysfunction and shit that they I didn't even realize that until like way later, like recently, that they protected me from. But I just was a badass little rebel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was a motherfucker, you know? I was ready to just abandon all constructs of what motherfuckers thought,
Yeah.
and was like, because of my brother and sister dying and committing suicide, I just became a fierce soldier of motherfucking love. And I became somebody who. So, one of the things that happened to me when I was really young was like, even my parents would talk about me like I was, like, try to convince other people that I wasn't good enough. And I learned something about myself, that I had to learn how to not give a fuck about what other people think and validate myself. And like, that is something that little Jody, that's a really strong thing that I became. And that was something that been I've always been a fuck fuck you type.
I
Like,
get
my
you.
bar for bullshit, my measure for bullshit, I got a low tolerance for bullshit.
Amen to that. I do too. Like, I can't stand when people aren't genuine, loyal, or being just honest, man. Like, just be real, you know.
And sometimes you really can't speak on it, and you just have to realize, like, they're not ready to
Yeah.
understand that.
Yeah. I
And in
get you.
myself too. Being on Twitch and shit, I've learned that, I've learned one of the things you learn about yourself being on this stream, and DJing on Twitch, you learn about yourself. You it's like, it really is like yoga. It's like you learn how to abandon all these, constructs of worrying about what other people think,
You have to.
and you'll see, oh my God, I got one follower less today. I can't worry about that shit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you can't look at you, I mean, anybody that puts themselves out there to, in a public, to be judged, it takes courage.
They be judging.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't lie because, I mean, my kids and I, and even my wife, when we see some people on the news or whatever, right? We're always roasting shit.
It's
Like,
fun to roast.
yeah, it's like
I mean, it's
roasting.
fun to roast.
Yeah, it's like, man, she got way too much makeup on right now, man. They didn't do her right. You know what I'm saying? Look at all that pancake makeup
I
or
know.
whatever,
I've been in P Stang's stream where we watch the people on the dance floor, which it's so fun to make fun of people low key.
Yeah, right.
I try to bring humor,
Me too.
into everything.
Yeah, I mean, even with, bad, I'm that guy that's going to be trying to make everybody laugh with the most inappropriate things at the funeral that I possibly can.
Yeah.
I'm that person. I've done it at every single funeral because that's how I deal with death myself. You know what I mean? And those tough
Yeah.
subjects, it's like, man, we got to
Well,
laugh through it.
one of the things I want to say, so, you know, one of the things that, when you have that spirit or that energy inside of yourself, um you're willing to, you know just try different things. You know what I mean? I kind of got lost in what we were talking about.
Well, I mean, like, it's all good. So what we'll do is we'll get on to the next, right? So at
Let's get on.
15 You wrote to the state of Florida asking them to send you to massage school. What
That's
gave you
right.
the nerve and clarity to advocate for yourself and even do that?
I don't know, but I just realized like you have to be creative. That was something inside of me. I was always resourceful and creative, and I just thought I'm gonna write a letter and see if they'll send me to massage school. And I said, hey, this just happened to me. I don't have my parents. I don't want to be a burden on the system later. And they did it. They sent me to massage school. They paid for me to have my own apartment.
That's dope.
And yeah, I went to Educating Hands School of Massage in um, Miami.
That's dope. That's really dope.
I'm a
Um,
dope ass massage therapist, by the way.
I got you. I got you. I got you. So you've been doing that since the age of 15, man. Like learning how
Yep.
it's serious in that. Did you do you still do that?
Yep. I got, I'll show you. I have my massage table. This is my apartment. Can you see it?
Yeah, we can see it.
There's my
Damn.
bike. There's my
And then
massage
show
table.
everybody that view that you got. Look at that, y'all. Look at the view she has, man.
That's San Francisco Bay. It's pretty dope.
It is dope. That looks dope as hell, man. Shout
I
out
deserve it.
to the Bay. Except y'all scare me with those damn uh
What?
earthquakes. Earthquakes, I'm scared of them, man.
I'm I'm scared of them too. Shit.
That's the reason why I didn't move there, man. I had plenty of opportunities to move out there,
There's fucked
and
up shit
thinking about
everywhere
it,
though.
I was like, man, oh hell yeah. Like I grew up used to tornadoes, so I'm not afraid of tornadoes. I mean, I respect the hell out of tornadoes and I know that they're not to play with, but I don't like storms that are the size of continents and you gotta like leave states and go hundreds or 1,000 miles and then to come back to see your shit going. Speaking of you, Florida, y'all crazy. Uh
I, Florida, I
and
hated
earthquakes
Florida's weather.
and
It's so hot
earthquakes.
there.
Humid.
Humid, hot, whatever you want to call it. It was hot. But so when I was 13, I started taking karate. I took Shotokan karate.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And my sensei's brother was a really good friend of mine, and he let me live in his house with him, Gary Lambert. And he was in a band with Johnny Depp, and Johnny Depp went to my high school.
Johnny Depp went to your high school?
Yeah.
I got you.
And so when I was in massage school, I lived with Gary. I lived on my own. And then the day I graduated from massage school, I drove from Miami to Woodstock, and I lived in this Tibetan Buddhist monastery.
I wanted to
And
know about that. Like, so tell me, like, living at the Tibetan Buddhist monastery.
it was dope.
What did that chapter teach you about silence, discipline, grief, and presence? And I mean, there's so
None
much
of that
that's.
shit, motherfucker. Let me tell you, I was 17 years old. I was looking for a place to live where I was
Ah,
like, I tell you what, like,
I love it.
I was trying to smoke weed with Rachel. We would go outside of the Gompa, like there's like a entrance to the monastery, and we would at least smoke weed, like on the other side of the thing. Like when I had to do laundry, sometimes I would take change from the like shrine room. Yes, I was a bad Buddhist, you might say. But it was more the family there, the people who lived there. It was dope. Like I got to experience some shit. I was surrounded by Tibetan people. You
What was
know,
that like? Like, what kind of culture? Like, what is it? Is there something that people get wrong or misunderstand about that culture and that environment that, what we see from the outside, right? And you were on the inside and got to know
yeah.
it and live there. Like, what would you say that is something that's misunderstood about that culture?
Well, Tibet was its own sovereign nation until China, colonized kind of like basically they, the Dalai Lama at the time was the political leader of Tibet, but also a spiritual leader. There's four sects of Tibetan Buddhism, and he was one of the heads of one of those sects, but
Okay.
also the president, like the leader of Tibet. And just like they did to the Native American Indians here, they were like lying and saying, we're going to fucks with you, but we're really not. We're ready to kill you. And
Yeah.
so the Dalai Lama, escaped and into India. But one of like the Tibetan heads of the monastery, his name was Bardu Tolku, his whole family was set on fire in front of him and he escaped in Tibet. And these
Wow.
were people who had escaped that part of history where Tibet was being overtaken by China, and they were holding like this information as if you were like passing it on, in an indoctrinated kind of way for generations. And they were just so fucking profound. I didn't even realize how profound. And Kempo Rinpoche, who was the head of the monastery, he was just like, just a, you can't even comprehend. So his sister um, was lived in the room next to me. She had been a slave to the Chinese government, who had been uh, captured and held under their regime and forced, into labor and stuff like that. These are people who had been under the most extreme suffering and trauma, but like had the most beauty, the most depth, like just the fucking wisdom. And even the teachings that I learned then, I didn't realize until way later. By the way, I went to clairvoyance school later in my life, and I realized like a lot of the Tibetan stuff uh, into um, is very deep into like clairvoyant shit, visualizing. A lot of the practices where you use the mantras, you're visualizing. Um, like, I don't know if this is boring or not. Is this cool?
Yeah, it's not boring. Go ahead.
So there's a practice called medicine Buddha, and for example, like I would visualize you kind of as like a chalk. I use like an outline in my reading screen in my mind,
Hmm.
and then I ask spirit to show me a picture of where uh, there's opportunity for healing, and then I would do the practice of medicine Buddha. But I learned that when I was really young, but I didn't really understand it until way later. So I don't know. That was my experience. I love being with them, and you know, it's like I met Chinese people who totally um, disregarded Tibet as a sovereign nation. So um, you know, it's just my people. That's it.
I got you. Hell yeah. So I want to know, how did your relationship and friendship form with Rachel and Richie, Haven's daughter, and then shape your relationship with music, art, and like, your spiritual survival?
Man, I love Rachel so much. When you meet someone and just know like you've had many past lives with
Yeah.
them, and like it was just written. Um, so Rachel's mom worked with me in the kitchen, and Rachel would come up and we'd hang. And af- after I left, she actually moved into the monastery, but she introduced me to all of these people. I mean, Rachel literally, she reminds me of Alex Mejia, but more.
I
Like,
got you.
knows everybody. We went to the Apollo to see the Whalers, and they're like, "What's up, Rachel?" I was like, "Motherfucker, you know the Whalers?"
That's crazy.
So she helped me meet other people who lived in town, and I would babysit for people, and we would trade weed for babysitting. I've always smoked weed,
Ain't
and
no wrong with it. That's you.
I loved it. So, but I had no money. You know, living in a
Yeah.
monastery, you ain't got no money. Um, so I started babysitting the guitar player from Bad Brains,
Dope.
Dr. No. I babysat his 5 badass Rasta kids.
Shout out to Dr. No though, man. Shit.
Motherfucking rip for real. And the way that happened actually was I was in this grocery store and I had my headphones on and I was singing Sade. And his wife hit me up and was like, wow, you can sing. And I was like, wow, thank you. And she's like, want to babysit?
They just hooked you in like, yep.
And
No,
I
that
remember like their oldest boy, he's like, you know who the Easter Bunny is? Your mama. They were really cool people, and still to this day, Rachel's really close. And so Rachel's son, Chogi Lama, um, Kempo Rinpoche, named Chogi, and he is a prodigal guitar player. So like in 18 months, this little motherfucker was playing guitar,
mm,
and he actually played on that same stage that Richie Havens played, and he played Jimi Hendrix. So Chogi, Rachel's son, is a amazing guitar player,
wow.
and um, he plays with Bad Brains. He's played with what's the black dude who played kind of Hootie and the Blowfish,
Oh, Darius Rucker.
Dave Masters.
No, Darius Rucker.
But who's the white dude who's similar to that guy?
Oh, so you have Dave Matthews, but
Yeah,
you also have
Matthews.
John. You got John Mayer as well. That
Chogi
who's
has played with them. He's played with like Weather Report artist Fred Armisen from Saturday Night Live.
yeah, he does. He's a musician. Yes, yeah. Wow.
So so I started just we were just into music. I remember I turned like 19 there, and I was playing EPMD and Run DMC, and the woman whose house we were having the party in was like, I'm ready to stop playing this. And I put on Soul to Soul, you know? And that was like, for me, that era was like Soul to Soul, John Coltrane, a lot of
Mm,
music I just listened in my headphones while I was at the monastery. And then when I was 19, I moved to San Francisco.
yeah. And then you got to the Bay, and then you started connecting with the people in the music industry there.
Hip hop,
Hip hop. So let's
106.1 KMEL.
So when you moved to San Francisco and you were closer to the West Coast and hip hop scene, and again, everybody, if you had an opportunity to watch the B Boys Underground episode with CMT Miraculous, uh, that's thanks to Miss DJ Just Delicious. Thank you so much for hooking that up, because we
My
hope to have
pleasure.
him back, because he has so many stories and so much stuff that we could. I got so many questions for him. It's like
He's so
running out of
mad at
time.
me because I don't know all the shit that he's done.
I got you. I got you. Well, I
I'm
mean,
like,
he's got
damn.
a. I mean, his credits
I
are
just like
pages.
prefer not knowing how famous the motherfucker is when I'm meeting you.
Yeah, but what's cool is when you meet somebody like that that's down to earth and you can talk, and you know what I mean.
That's
Like,
one of my best friends.
yeah,
I
it's
love
really
that
cool.
guy.
Yeah. So, what was the first thing that you like as far as hip hop, right? What was your first like connection, impression? Did you, or first concert that you went
Oh
and
Lord, let
seen?
me tell you right now. When I moved to San Francisco, I'll never forget. I took a bus to Marin to see the Beastie Boys, Run DMC, that tour where they were touring together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'll never forget. Like the bus dropped you right off on the freeway, and I was like, "What?" Um,
On the freeway, damn.
but that was my first hip hop concert. And I also saw Diamond D in SF. I didn't really, this was like a short little period between moving there. Um, but I was super influenced by hip hop by then. And so um, I was listening to KML, which shout out KML, shout out Alex Mejia, Chewy Gomez, um, all those motherfuckers. We'll get there. But before I actually met them and knew them more intimately, in the 90s when I moved to San Francisco, there was a radio station called 106.1 KMEL, and these guys were the DJs on there, and
Hmm.
they had a syndicated radio show that actually made hip hop more accessible throughout the whole nation. And a lot of people would play a song and drop it in San Francisco first. For example, like Salt and Pepper, Ice T. Like Ice T in his interview with Questlove shouted out KMEL for helping him, get that
Get on.
wind under his sails. But, so that was my era. Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul, um, Queen Latifah, Erica Badu, in the 90s. But, you know, uh, so yeah. And then I started wearing like the Carhartt and the Dickies and the Tims and shit. You
Right
know what I'm
on.
saying?
I
I was
got you.
feeling into my B girl self.
Hey man, that's dope. So like when you started immersing yourself in there, what was like one of the rappers or sound or someone from the Bay that you first connected with?
Tupac,
Gotcha.
Tupac, Digital Underground. Um,
Mad love the Digital Underground, man.
the night Tupac died, I remember calling into the radio show on KMEL, which is hosted by Davey D. Shout
Hmm.
out Davey D.
Shout out to Davey D.
He's a legend.
Absolutely.
And um, yeah, but then, I had a very the 90s were really, I ended up having children in the 90s in 95 and 98. And so when everybody was doing that thing, I was being a mother. But Erica Badu, all that shit. you know the thing was, so I married a guy who was in a band and who's a music producer and who's really talented. He plays the every instrument. He's like Prince. Uh, that asshole
All right.
motherfucker. But in my early 20s, so when I had my second child, Xavier was diagnosed with autism, and my husband bought me turntables and a mixer, the Newmark setup, because he wanted me to get out of my head, because I was constantly thinking about, healing autism. And I
Mm.
was so obsessed with it, I couldn't see anything else but that. But this was way before I became a DJ. I was always immersed in music and like had this thing about sounds and samples, and I want to mix Missy Elliott with Aretha Franklin. And when my daughter was 7 years old, I used to DJ at this place called Ashkenaz in Berkeley, and we would do the barefoot Sunday, like, whatever ecstatic thing. And the first time I played like Tupac and shit, and they were like, you can't, use cuss words. And so I was using this Rio MP3 player with records. And if you really want to call it what it is, I was kind of DJing, I guess, then.
You
But
of
I didn't
course were
really,
DJing. I know what you're trying to say, but you were
no, no,
DJ. You're
no, no.
playing music for people.
No,
I
no,
mean,
no, no.
yeah,
But I've always kind of been a music aficionado, and I love to sing. So, but I still didn't know I was going to be a DJ at this point in my life.
I got you. Even when your ex had bought you the turntables and the mixer, what kind of turntables did he buy you?
It was the Newmark. It was like a kit. You know,
Okay.
that big
Yeah.
rectangular box with the mixer. I
It came
actually
in a
ended up
coffin.
trading a babysitter to babysit the kids, the mixer, and she became a really famous DJ. My babysitter,
What was her name? Do we know her?
Lotus. You know what? My phone battery is low.
I got you. You might want to switch on over. If you want to switch over, go ahead and switch over and grab yourself some water.
Okay,
And
good.
we will talk about how
Commercial
everybody.
break.
It's a small commercial break. And what we'll do is I want to, of course, thank everybody that's here live and with us. We do this every single Wednesday. We start at 9 p.m. Eastern, and I said it with a bunch of syllables because that's the way I said it. But 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. No, 8 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Pacific. We've got a ton of interviews coming up. Currently in negotiations. That made it sound kind of crazy. But next week, who we have scheduled, so everybody can know, is that next Wednesday, we got another DJ that we're going to have on. And this is a special one to me because it is an individual that I played football with, I grew up with. I first met him when I went to school camp, but he ended up being my quarterback all through middle school and high school, and a very, very gifted individual and talented, just really, really, really great. His name is DJ Leonidas, and he has a company called 513 Entertainment, DJ out of there. And then on Thursday night, we've got an artist by It's Cartier, and he's been doing a lot of things on Instagram. Check him out. We're going to be interviewing him, and it'll be a great opportunity for everyone to check out some good stuff. And then, yeah, again, it's live at B-Boys Underground on YouTube. We have our Facebook page, and we are now live and broadcasting on our Facebook page, and that's B-Boys Underground on Facebook. We have a group on Facebook. You can go ahead and connect with, everybody on the pages in the group on Facebook. If you're one that is on Facebook, we have an Instagram page. That's B-Boys Underground. It's b.boys.underground. And the podcast, you'll be able to watch all of the previous episodes at youtube.com/at B-Boys Underground, all one word. We've got almost 300 episodes in the can, if not more, because I stopped counting. So everybody that we've interviewed, from Demiza to Be Real to Son Doobie to Big V of Nappy Roots last week, to the one and only CMT Miraculous. We've had, let's see here, just so many people. Jazzo multiple times. Yeah, so check out our past catalog and let us know what you think. Please drop a comment, a like, a subscribe, share that out, and we'll go. And we'll check out and see if Just Delicious is ready. All right, so here we go. She's back. She's got some water, not whiskey this time, so she can. Old girl down to half a fifth of whiskey. I was like, oh shit! Like,
It's because I'm thirsty.
yeah, I
I don't do
see.
this all the time.
I ain't
Plus,
mad at you.
whatever. It's a party over here. We're
Hell
having
yeah.
fun.
We're hitting here having fun. We're talking about music, and that's what we do. This is for the love of hip hop music. This is a love letter to hip hop music. And man, much love and appreciation to you when we do it live. We don't do the pre-recording or any of that shit. We're live, uncut, and raw.
Thank you again for having me.
Oh man, it's such a blessing to have you. And shout out to DJ E Boogie, man. We had him on last week too.
Love that guy. He's an amazing.
He's an amazing DJ.
Amazing.
He's a wonderful spirit, good human.
You can't learn that shit.
Yeah, man. Dope,
Let's
dope.
get into like the DJ stuff.
I want to talk about it, man. So when this is kind of special though, because before you were ever touched anything, or like your daughter gifted you a DJ controller
Yep.
because you wanted to be, and you had a connection to music and everything like that. What was going through your head when your daughter actually gifted you a DJ controller and was like, here?
Literally the word ye. Like
Right on.
ye. Like, oh my God. And one of the things that I learned when I started self teaching myself about DJing is motherfucking DJs love to make YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And I was watching every DJ tutorial, you could find in the world, but also just like really just fucking with it. You know what I mean? I already have like one of the things that I think I have is a kind of like e-boogie and blue collar high level of good taste in music.
Selector.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and that can't be taught. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always just my affinity for music, you know, I'll be honest, like I can't do bands like Boston and a lot of the 80s stuff, freestyle. I can't.
So you don't like
It's
freestyle? Like Debbie
no, I
Deb
don't.
and
I,
all of
I'm
that?
gonna be. This is
Be
my
honest. Yeah,
confession.
this is my confession. Yep.
No, I don't. But I like the people who like it.
Yeah.
So, um, um, I started learning. And so my daughter in seventh grade, so there was this club in Alameda called the Church Ward Pub. And in seventh grade, my daughter was the teacher assistant to her PE coach, whose name is Dave Stebbins. Shout out Dave Stebbins. And I hit him up and was like, hey, I'm learning how to DJ. And he's a DJ many years, San Francisco, and at this club, Church Wards, which I would go to dance at. And I was like, can I come in and practice being a DJ? And so he would let me come in and I wouldn't get any money. I would practice on Wednesday nights. And on the weekends, this place was popping. And at this time, like, while I love music, I really didn't have an awareness of DJ culture. Like,
Mm,
of course, I knew who Qbert and Shortcut and these guys were, but I didn't really know I didn't know, no, right?
right.
So, I hit up Dave Stebbins. He he was into my best friend at the time, so I kind of like leveraged. I was like, "Hey," you know what I'm saying?
No,
When
I
you
got you.
want something, you find a way.
Yep.
And I just knew that like if I kept being persistent, I would Joe Churchward, the owner of the club, would call me up and say, can you work? And he did, and that happened. But prior to that, Dave Stebbins said to me, hey, do you know Alex Mejia? And I was like, no. And he was like, he's the music director here, and he's like really instrumental in Tupac's career and Digital Underground. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I hit up Alex Mejia and I was like, I want to be a DJ. And he was like, well, send me a mix. And then I sent him a mix and he's like, why do you want to be a DJ? Okay, that was day one of the hazing begins.
Yep.
Um, but one of the things that happened to me
Uh
was,
huh.
oh my God, I found this thing that I love so much. Like, I love massage. I love my children. I love, a lot of shit. But I was so stoked that I had found something that brought me so much joy, but I still sucked. I was still a bad DJ. Like as far as knowing a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and so some of the DJs that were at the Church Ward Pub were like Jose Melendez. He's a very high level DJ in the Bay Area. So many DJs who were really, really. legendary in the Bay Area. And then here I am, this like older white lady, uh, really trying. And um, shout out to Joe Churchward and Lisa Churchward, because they really like were so kind to me and so loving. But all of the DJs were really hard on me, really hard, like almost in that way where I don't want anybody to see me be nice to you type shit.
I got you.
But I was not gonna give up. I would Mr. Miyagi that shit. And and I built a relationship with Alex, and this was like I had to like, you know, roll up cables and headphones and do all the grunt work. And
Mm-hmm. Pay your dues.
just so I could go and plug my headphones in and listen to him do his cue points and stuff. That was like I would wait 3 hours, you know, just to find out if I'm gonna be let into that shit. And this was a while, and I just kept, going at it. And then I met a dude named Walt Liquor, who is
I like
another
that name, Walt Liquor, though.
that is a legendary DJ. He produced Maroon 5 and like a hella motherfuckers. But I have a son with severe autism, and at one point I had to go live outside of my home, and I went and lived with Walt. And Walt actually taught me how to drop it on the one. Like the
Okay.
real drop it
The,
on the one,
I got you.
not what I thought was drop it on the one. And I became a better DJ. And you know playing at church wards, it was kind of like I would open up for all of these guys, and I just knew like I wanted to come out the gates. I wanted people to be dancing by 10 o'clock, you know and it was awesome. It was just the funnest shit ever, you know and I've always been like a solo flyer. I've never really flown with like a clique, you
Mhm.
know so it would be funny. I would be DJing, and like this kid that was in kindergarten with my daughter would be like, "Oh my god, Jody." I'm like, "Hey baby." um and then I just started building up my skills and my ability. But I always had my son with autism. So like 10 minutes before I would have a gig at church wards, my son would be having like a meltdown, and I'd have to rush there. And yet like I wasn't really telling people what I was dealing with at home, because I wanted to I just didn't want anything to prevent me from being successful.
Yeah.
I didn't even know I was going to DJ at clubs. I just wanted to learn how to like mix Missy Elliott with like Aretha Franklin, and the Supremes with like E40. And that was my main goal. And you know, uh it took a while, it took a long while. But now I'm 10 years September.
Hell yeah. Congratulations on that. So you talk about like, them teaching you how to drop it on the one. Take me to the first time you taught yourself to DJ, and like what was it that was confusing? Like what clicked
It
for
wasn't.
you? What made you
The
keep going?
best mix I ever made, it's on my Mixcloud. It's the one at the bottom with the little peanuts of Sally DJing.
And those links are in the description, y'all.
It's the best mix I ever fucking made. I didn't even know how to DJ like that. It was just I would just try. And I'll be honest, like when stuff has like a little EDM, um actually Alex Mejia sent me a bunch of songs. One was like some Rihanna, some MJ. This is when I started learning about, record pools and intros and outros. Um, my very first paid DJ gig, it was like a Filipino rich community, and I remember texting Alex, like, "Fuck, they want line dancing songs." He's like texting me back, "Rookie." Um, you know, uh, I didn't know what I was doing, but it's one of the best mixes I ever made. But I will say, mixing stuff that has like, you know, that type of shit is so much easier than anything else. Also, the stuff that I was trying to mix was like from Here My Dear, Marvin Gaye, and I realized like digital recording was different from recording back in the day, and
Mm-hmm.
I had to, you know, blah blah, you know, shit just started popping off, and I was obsessed with it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean that's I get it. I it's the best drug ever. You know, I was talking to E Boogie about it, and every DJ that I've ever talked about, any person that's ever DJ'd, you know, it is a drug, and especially being able to play the music that you love and put it together in an order that you are feeling and experiencing, and then
I
you have
love it.
that much sound going out, and then you have the energy coming back. It's just, there's nothing like it. Like, there's nothing like it.
There's
So
nothing like it.
nah, there's nothing like it. It's a great thing. And you know, I do want to not gloss over it, but you know, as a mother, you know, who dedicated yourself to your children and everything like that, um, and especially raising a son with autism, you know, what did DJing do to help you give back to you as your own identity? Because you know, your drug as a mother into that, and you talked about how you didn't want to bring that energy and didn't tell people about it, but you know, you wanted your DJing to stand alone and you as the person,
It's
and
amazing.
you had to separate that life, right? And I'm assuming that it was therapeutic once you got there and were able to break free, right?
Well, what it was so Xavier was 17 at the time. So for 17 years I had been very isolated. I didn't really let people know how hard my life was or how traumatic life was. And so when I became a DJ, I also started becoming social for the
Mm.
first time in a mega long time. And it was my gift to myself to do something that I wanted to do
Hmm.
outside of something that I was kind of forced to having to do.
Yeah.
And um, the thing that's so beautiful about it is that DJing is a very spiritual experience. Like when you get people dancing on the dance floor, you're raising the vibration and everybody is feeling that, and they're taking that love and energy with them into their next, you know, experience or whatever, and you're doing it collectively. And as a spiritual person, I believe that when you do vibrational raising like that collectively, it's even more powerful, you know. um but the thing about Xavier has always been a music person. Like his very first song that he loved was Rocksteady, and then One Two Step. And he's just like, right. Xavier is transitioning out of living with me for the first time ever. He's 28 now. And right before he moved out, he was like, he will hear me listen to something and be like, he says, "This is like question mark." And he got super into Lady Gaga.
Right
So
on.
cute. And like he loves Michael, you know, he loves what he loves. But Xavier, my whole life I've been a singer, so like I would sing a song and then I would play it, and Xavier would be like, "That's Mama's been singing that song my whole life," like as if I was singing a Diana Ross song before Diana Ross. You know what I'm saying? Um, but it gave me autonomy. You know what I'm saying? It gave me a way to be Jody outside of Mama. You know.
Hell yeah, man. And that's dope, you know. And I got a question for you. You know, you're an advocate for, you know, autism. And I have a question for you. Being a mother of a son with autism and knowing how And then also with your background, right? So, your childhood experiences, and we got into that, how heavy that was,
Yeah.
how did that help you shape how you read a room and interacted with folks and like find that energy? Like, because I'm sure all of those skills that you had to acquire and learn and coping and then reading people, you know, I'm sure there was some hypervigilance that you have and just
Well,
constantly
but
paying
everybody
attention.
doesn't know everything. I remember one of the
Yeah.
very first gigs I ever got. I did this block party in Alameda, and they wanted all country music, and I was like, I know Little Nas X and like one Beyonce song, and I was like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? So you learn, but also I will say, aside from country and freestyle, um, I have a very good repertoire of music. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Hmm.
Like, I like what I like, um, but you see the white people, you know, you see the culture of what's in front of you, whether you're at a wine bar and there's a mom, with her child. There's a way to, like, when there's not a lot of people, I always take requests, and then you find out what people are vibing with. But I'll play Rolling Stones, I'll play Pink Floyd, I'll play Bon Jovi if I see that that's what's needed, you know what I'm saying? But I will always kind of infiltrate my flavors into the experience. But that was the thing about Church Wars that was so dope, was like you could play ratchet shit and there was no permission needed. You know what I mean? And I like that. I like the feeling, like, of being able to, I treat my bitch like an ATM card. Yeah, it's fun to say that shit. For now, I don't live by that rule, but I want to, express myself in a way where it's dangerous, or it's, loud or absurd, or, irreverent. And, so, like, that is who I kind of am. I'm what I call an inconsistent Twitch streamer.
Hey, look, you do it. You show up and you just do it when you can, man. And life is, life sometimes, right? And what you said earlier today before the show, it was like everything's gonna be on divine time and it is what it is. I was like, hell yeah, because like as someone who is always like, I carry a lot of anxiety with me and shit too, because I want things to be right. I'm a perfectionist, and as you know, perfectionism, it paralyzes you, right?
Yeah, good. I like you just the way you are is so much better than perfect or
Yeah,
just right. You're just right.
just be you.
You know
Nobody
what
can
I
be
always
you but
say?
you.
Um, I'm not late, but I'm right on time.
Yes, you are.
I'm always late, but I'm right on time.
Hell yeah, man. So I want to know, what does the Bay bring out of you musically, like, and how does the Bay Area energy show up in your sets?
The Bay is so amazing. Again, I learned about Bay music through Alex Mejia. And one night the Loonies were playing at Church Wards,
Salute to
and
the
Money
loonies.
B, Cletus Mack, and Forax from the Mechanics were there to support the Loonies, Yuck Mouth, and I forget the name of the other member.
Now you're gonna make me look silly because I'm not thinking about it right now.
Don't even trip. But
Yeah,
they're wonderful people, and I
yeah.
met them. And later, Forax had a. He's in this band called the Mechanics with Kenny Tweed, and he got a brain injury.
Mm.
And me and a friend of his, or ours, named Fluid, Kevin Allison, we did a live stream from Twitch, and we just played all the Mechanics music, all Digital Underground. Forax was in Digital Underground. He was a dancer for Digital Underground and a DJ, and just through that introduction, like I don't know famous people. I don't know nothing. I'm just a small fish. Um, literally. But Forax and I became really good friends.
Mhm.
And he really, I started learning about the hyphy movement, Mac Dre, Jaqua,
Mhm.
and of course, like so my friends in Woodstock are all down with the Parliament uh, camp, and so Digital
P-Funk,
Underground is kind
baby.
of like the next generation of that camp, and so I just resonated with these people. But the thing about the Bay Area is the artists that come out of here, like Sly, In Vogue, Sheila E. Um, it's not like any other place in America. There's just something about the Bay that's very special and eclectic
Mhm.
when it comes to the people that come out of here. Like there's a reason Forax never moved to LA to get famous, which I don't even like that whole
Yeah.
celebrity thing. But it's like I want to do what I do here where I resonate and my foundation is. So, I've learned from the people of the Bay and just kind of resonated and then started expressing myself as, in that way, but not limiting myself either.
Yeah. So I have to take a pause because, you mentioned Digital Underground, you mentioned Money B, but before we say anything, rest in peace to Shock G,
Shock G, Cletus Mac,
Cletus Mac,
Tupac.
Tupac, yes, right? And mad love to Money B. That's a dream interview of mine. So if you're
It'll
out there, Money
happen,
B,
I'm telling
shout
you.
out to you. And they look, this year is the anniversary
Mm,
of one of the most important albums for me because I did and do and have always loved funk music, especially being originally from Cincinnati, Ohio, and funk was all around. And that was, I always say, Ohio mud and Ohio blood. It's in the funk is in us.
My daughter's in Ohio right now.
I salute to her. I know it's hot and muggy there. But the thing you mentioned, like Digital Underground was the next iteration of Parliament. And man, Shock with all the different characters and that first album. Uh, and you can go get a special edition album right now that when you open it up with Sex Packets, it opens up and it has a pop-up book and you'll see like a sketch of a pop-up from one of their first sessions of that. And they even
I
have
love
colored
Shock
vinyl.
G's cartoonetry and
Yes, but
artistry.
he was such a gifted musician. My God. I remember the very first time I called my mom and she like when you get home from school, latchkeying, get home from school, give me a
Yeah,
call, let me know
I
you good.
remember running home to listen to Dougie Fresh.
Yep. So my mom would be like, she would get a lot of my music for me early on, and she'd
That's cool.
ask like, "I'll buy you something. What do you want?" And I was like, "I need Digital Underground Sex Packets." And she was like, "Word." She never tripped as far as
I
like
love
hip
your
hop or
mom for
anything
that.
like that. Uh, and when I got that and I listened to it for the first time, I remember being like absolutely blown away. And especially, of course, Freaks of the Industry
Mm,
with the piano solo in
yes,
that. I mean,
so
I
much.
I cannot tell you how many times I played Freaks of the Industry and then even Gutfest 89. Of course you got Do What You Like was what I had when I asked for the album, even before they released
I
Humpty.
Get Around with Tupac.
Yeah, I mean, and then you go into the production work off of the Strictly album, his second album, it's Pac's second sophomore album, and I Get Around. My God, that thing just went, and that was always a go-to and still is. Like, that is one that I will pop in and you'll get a reaction from everybody because everybody knows that song. It's so catchy, and the words, the lyrics, and everything. Everybody plays together so well, and the video, of course, is amazing.
And just I want to say the thing that runs through that whole camp is this extreme talent, but this humble humility that they really just don't get. Their heads aren't inflated to the extent where they have, all of the access to all of that. But this group of people are so relatable and so humble and down to earth that, like, that's why they're even more special.
Yeah, but even
Shock G was really like that.
he was such a visionary, and all of the songs, and I mean all of his albums, all of the Digital Underground albums, I mean when they came with the EP, which had same song, and it was on the soundtrack to the movie with Dan Aykroyd that I can't remember, but that was part of the video. That was Tupac's first entrance into it, and that was a short EP, and then they went into uh, Sons of the P, which was their sophomore album, which had Kiss You Back, and all of that. Like, man, and then they continued to keep going, and it's just amazing how he was such a talented artist, and
So
he
sad.
doesn't get
A
his
poet,
due.
a
A
prophet,
poet,
really.
yeah. I mean, extremely a gifted individual. And if you
And
guys
did you
are,
know that his mom learned acupuncture to treat people recovering from crack addiction?
no, tell us
To
about that.
Well, it was just another story that I don't know much about, but I know that it was one of those things that was tried to be shut down. People didn't want, um, I guess, like the man was trying to prevent her from creating more access, but she brought that to Oakland, um, and was the first person to ever introduce acupuncture for that purpose. So uh, she's an amazing woman.
That's beautiful. And I ask you, when you're doing your massage therapy for folks, and there is a theme with you, and what that theme is that uh, you connect with people through music. You have a care and compassion for people. You want to help people, and you want to connect with people and try to heal them in a way. And how I always think about when I'm playing music is that it's normally, and it always is, no lie, it's mental health therapy for me. Like, my kids know, my wife knows, like, I'm going up to DJ, and they're like, all right, and they know, like, shit's been stressful. Like, today was a fucking bitch of a day, and it was Stevie's birthday, and I knew that I had this interview. I had already prepared for all of this, and I knew I was in the pocket, but I was like, I cannot go without. I got to just fucking DJ. I'm done with these lawyers and doctors. Fuck these people. Let me
Yeah,
get up and play some
I
music
love
that
that feeling.
I can connect with, and I got a chance to do 2.5 hours of playing nothing but Stevie Wonder, and man, that brought me to center. I was out of pocket and out of a line. And do you integrate all of that into what you're doing with, like, the massage
No.
therapy or
As
any
a
of
matter
that?
of fact, one time I was listening to Shortcut on Twitch, and Walt Liquor was in the stream, and he was like, he asked, because I do massage for Walt, and he was like, "Are you giving a massage?" And I was like, "Yeah, my massage client asked for music." So I put Shortcut on. No, as a rule, I don't use music. That
Ah,
I don't use
shout out to
music that
Shortcut.
has words when I do massage.
What do you play?
I play some like native flute, or
Did you-
like Indian flute, whatever is really deep, like, oh, you know. And then I
Yeah,
also deepen into binaural beats. You know about binaural
I
beats?
listen to them every single day.
And you know what's really cool? People like Erica Badu and some artists even integrate it into the recording of their studio
Yes, they.
sessions and stuff. And so you don't even know that you're feeling it. But what binaural beats are, it's a frequency, so to speak, and it syncopates your heart and your brain
It
together.
activates both sides of your brain. It engages both sides of your brain.
Is the video getting really dark or am I
No,
good?
you're great. You're great.
Okay, great. So yeah, so I do that kind of stuff, or I don't play anything. And it's really funny because some of my friends who I've massaged, I'm like, I really deepen in when I massage. Like, I have to get really like, whoo-sa. And I'm like, can you believe I can't talk for a whole hour? Like, I actually don't talk for a whole hour because I'm such an over talker and excessively communicating. And but when I do massage, I don't talk, and if like a person wants to talk, I will answer them with like a yes or no question, but I encourage them to, you know, deepen into relaxation.
I got you. Have you ever played that Andre 3000 Blue Sun
No,
during a
I haven't
massage?
when I've given a massage, but actually that's a great idea. The flute album,
Yeah.
yeah, that's good.
That's exactly what that album's made for. I mean,
Yeah,
like
I
sitting.
love him
I
and
mean, Three
them.
Stacks is he one of the greatest of all times. He's the GOAT, man. He is an outcast, you know. Shout out to the Dirty South, man, and the Dungeon family. All right, so I have to ask this question because, you know, we've mentioned the massages and all that stuff, like, and I wouldn't be. People are all thinking in the chat. So, have you ever been propositioned and shit like that? What? How do you deal with that?
What do you think?
I know you
Yeah,
have. I
I
want to know how
have.
you deal with it.
So one guy, very wealthy, prominent president of a Merrill Lynch, no less. I've been a client of mine for many years, and then he's like, "My stomach is sore." I'm like, "Ah." So I'm massaging his abdomen, and then he's like, "Can you go lower?" And I was like, "You can't afford lower, motherfucker." And was basically
Ah,
like, You know, I don't do lower." Um,
yeah.
One thing that's so great about me is throughout my whole career as a massage therapist, I've never had to deal with that except that one time. But I thought about it and I'm like, I don't want to deal with that.
I mean,
I
yeah,
can make good money not doing that.
right,
That's
right,
my thing. Like, we'll see what the future holds.
right. I mean, like, it's just, I could only imagine how,
Disgusting men are.
yeah,
They
yeah.
are. One guy, I used to work at the Harbor Bay Club in Alameda for 17 years, and this guy
Yeah.
was like, "What do you and the massage therapist do when it's your downtime? Do you like braid each other's hair?" I'm like, "Yeah, motherfucker, we braid each other's
You
hair."
braid each other's hair,
I'm like,
like.
"Get off my table."
How do you deal with stinky ass people, man? Because I
I
have a
don't.
problem with
I
stink,
don't.
man. I hate body odor, dude.
I'm
Like,
too old for that shit.
you just tell them to
Um,
get to stepping or wash your ass or what?
I charge a lot of money for a massage. Like some people want to pay me for a massage for a DJ gig for 5 hours. What I get for 1 hour massage. And at this point in my life, I don't just take anybody. I only take clients I know are really high referrals for that very reason. Like, I
Protects
just
you.
don't want no random motherfuckers coming up in my shit.
Gotcha. So you got you deal with people that you know, and then they
High end
refer.
echelon.
Got you. All right. Well, there it is, man. So, and look, Candace Cedar said men are gross.
Hi,
Shout out to Candace.
Candaceita.
That's my girl right there. Make sure you follow her, Danny Chaz,
You
DJ
don't even know how
Cuzo.
gross men are. No one does. until some shit just opens your eyes and you can't ever turn
I
away
got you.
again. You can't
Yeah,
unsee it forever.
I got you. I got you.
But I love men. Just saying. I love you, disgusting men.
Now,
So,
when you make a mix, right? Do you, and like even when you go and do a set, do you go in ahead of time with intention around tempo or genre or what you're going to hit them with, or do you just wait until
no,
you feel
I
the rhythm?
do. I create crates. I get excited. Um, I like to really deepen into. It's funny. I'll go into many crates and they'll just be all the same songs in every crate. But yeah, I think about shit like that. Uh huh. As a matter of fact, that the more you DJ, the more you can have fun with expressing yourself in different ways. Like I have this one mix. It's my favorite mix in the whole wide world. I should have sent that to you. I start off with Irene Cara's Sometimes I Wonder from Fame, and then it goes into Hey Ladies, Get Funky. And then it goes into this other like sample that I used, and that's kind of how I like to do. I like to express myself in that funky way, however I want.
Absolutely. That's dope, man. Like just being able to do you and again, like I said, just putting out music and being able to play it. So we're gonna get into some questions in regards to who's some people that I know. Matt Midget Mike's in the chat and he's always like wanting to know what is an artist that gets no play in your ride.
Uh, this was pre Diddy. Um,
Say it again.
Diddy. Although I will play like Burning Up by Faith, and I'll play a couple things but I will not play R. Kelly unless I'm at the Black Social Club in San Leandro and a motherfucker requests that shit. And then I'm like, okay. But because, when you're paying me to play some shit, I'll play whatever the fuck. But I've never played ever a lot of shit. Like I've never played Lisa. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest. Never. It's not that I don't like her. I've just never played it. There's so many songs before that I would play instead of it. That's just who I am. But that
Not even let the beat hit them.
that
Let the
I would play
beat
that.
hit
But I've
them.
never played it. Just to be honest.
I got you.
And the other thing too is like I'm not even trying to be something I'm not. I'm just Jody. I
Yeah.
am I am so ready to embarrass myself, make mistakes, and be ready to see you the next day and be like, oh, but Chris Brown, I'm more now open to 50 Cent, but there was a story about 50 Cent dissing someone with autism, and I hated him for that.
That happened in the Cincinnati airport.
Airport.
Yes.
You're the
Yes.
only motherfucker who knows that story besides me.
Because it hurt my heart, man.
It hurt my heart too. I was like, fuck that motherfucker.
I know 50's a troll and everything like that,
But
and he
I
gets
do like
paid.
him
I
now. I do
mean,
like him better now.
yeah, and everybody makes mistakes and everybody has bad moments, and he was
I've made
probably
so
on a
many.
sick
I've
one
made
because
so
it was
many
after a
mistakes.
concert. It was late.
Listen,
Yeah.
who about you? Who is your I'll never play?
In my car or
No, I'll
ever?
never play ever artist.
All right, so chat. I know there's people in the chat that will answer that for me real quick. All right, I want to see how quick. Who's going to be the first one to type it
I
in?
bet it's Candacita.
All right. Let's see here. Danny's too. I will tell you. It starts with an A, it ends with an A, and there's two B's in the middle. ABBA. ABBA gets no fucking play. I hate that shit.
Oh
If
my
if
God.
you've never been beaten into it within an inch of your life to ABBA,
I
fuck
got a
that.
story for your
Fuck
ass.
ABBA, man. What? Tell us a story.
So after church ward, so I got this residency at this place called the Fireside in Alameda, and I had like one Saturday a month, and it was 60s to 3,000, and the era, because that's like what I like to play, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing all my shit, but it's a different crowd than church wards. It's very white, very different. I'm there by myself for like 5 hours, and I go to the bathroom and I come out and there's this white girl standing behind my whole computer trying to like look through songs.
Oh
Um
hell nah.
I actually ended my residency that night and told them I didn't want to come back because it was such an ABBA crowd. I couldn't even relate, and it was like playing music that I really didn't like. One of the things about me in the 80s, like, look, I can acknowledge all the great 80s shit, but the 80s for me was, still very Motown, and then beginning into like Run DMC, Queen Latifah, Earth, Wind, and Fire. So that's what I think of when I think of 80s. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I wanted to ask you, DJ Kuzo, is it Kuzo or Kuzo?
It's Cuzzo. That's
Kuzo, all right.
my
That's your homie?
conductor.
All right, so check it out. Ask her about 80s ballads.
Oh, yeah. I can sing some Donna Summers, hunty.
Okay.
That's who the first concert I ever saw was Donna Summers. See, that's the thing when I DJ on Twitch,
Yeah.
I sing to every song I play. And so I turn the mic down and I do my thing, but I'm embarrassed to be on camera doing all that. But Cuzzo is the only one who ever comes and watches me.
Well,
So
y'all
he knows.
you follow DJ Just Delicious, and if you look underneath her title that keeps going on screen, that is her link, twitch.tv/DJ underscore Just Delicious. Just like that.
Thank you so
You
much,
better
cuz
follow
thank
her.
you so much, Ghost Boogie.
Nah, man, thank you,
I
bro.
mean, the motherfuckers you have on here, E Boogie and Big V, Mark, CMT, I just want to give you props because so many artists and producers and rap hip hop legends come through your show, and they are never really given the accolades in the other parts of the world that they deserve. They deserve more than so many people who are given them. And you are doing such an amazing service to this community. I have learned so much from you,
Oh, man, thank you.
unbelievably. Like, it's amazing. And I just, you and, is it Fresh? I want to call him
Yeah,
DJ Fresh.
yeah, it's G Dash Fresh. Yes, that's the
He's
homie.
amazing. Candacita and Gorilla,
Gorilla Strong, yes, sir.
all of you guys
Yes,
in
ma'am.
this community are like loving and welcoming, and one of the things that I learned from Walt Liquor was it doesn't matter if 6 people are watching you or 600. Find your people and be
Yeah,
the leader, don't follow. You know what I'm saying? And what I love about you is like your quality of what you give. It don't matter if you're streaming on the 6 o'clock news or to just the sweet people who align with that energy. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And it's a real service. So thank you. And thank you. Cause I feel like I ain't got shit to really, like, I ain't shit compared to these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, no, you are, and stop that because listen, do not, do not ever discount yourself. And I'm someone that does it nonstop, right? And I have people tell me that all the time. Don't talk down on yourself, and it's
Yeah.
something that's been a habit
No, you're
since
right.
since childhood, right? But that voice was put in me by someone else, and it's not myself, right? The whole not good enough, and you try hard or whatever, or FOMO or whatever the fuck you want to call it, imposter syndrome. uh And it's difficult because, you know, you want to do well and you want to do it right. But I will tell you that I was at the point, at my lowest point, and I picked up and I just uh, decided that I was going to start DJing. You know, it was after the second time I had died, beat cancer and all of this shit. And it's like, I'm here and I'm
So grateful you're here.
450 fucking pounds, you know, and
Really?
like, yeah, and like I kept the room all dark and I had a camera set up on a tripod, and
Hmm.
like I would put like laser lights on the wall, and like all you could see was like me and like the reflection off the turntables and the mixer and the computer screen, right? And
Cause
that was all you could see, because I was just like, and I was like, watch me learn how to read DJ, because I still have limited feeling in my hands. Like,
mm,
so, and I like I can't, I like, there's trigger fingers, and I've had surgeries on my hands, arms, all this shit. And I had to teach myself how to DJ again by like feel and like pressure and all of that shit. And it was fun because I always said, watch me learn how to DJ again, because I had never even touched a fucking computer. Like, I was a vinyl DJ, and this, I always looked at everybody with the computers like, you lucky motherfuckers, you don't have to carry 20 crates and all these amps and all this shit. You just roll up with a laptop and you're, you know, it, it's, you know, it's completely different. But, and I love the technology because you can be so much more creative. So I don't hate on any of the new shit. I actually love it. I'm like, this is so cool that my kids, you know, I got a controller for them and they can
that's
DJ if they
cool.
want. You know what I mean?
I don't hate, even if I say I don't like country and freestyle, I have respect for anybody who will sit down and record a fucking song and make music, and they're coming from a place of artistry. I love that. But I wanted to say something about Twitch.
Mm.
And one of the things that this community has taught me is like, when you go to clubs and you DJ and everything, you don't really get to know like origin stories about people, but like knowing about what you've been through. And one of the things about Twitch that's so beautiful is like Michelle Cakes, like learning her story and how it inspires and helps people feel,
Yes.
hopeful. And I really just want to validate and acknowledge like how much it's so special to be learning about your stories and like what happened to you, and how we are all DJs, but there's so much more to us. We have all these archetypes that we are expressing simultaneously. So it's a real joy in this format to get to know people like you in this way.
And it's and the same to you, fam. I mean, come on now.
Really?
We talked, yeah, because look, I mean, we talked about the first hour was your childhood, and that was some heavy, heavy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, you have gone through and experienced life that a
It's
lot of people have not, right? And, you
yeah.
know, and even in communities that weren't so necessarily nice to you, and, you know, you, it just, all of that, I know exactly, I feel you, right? And you are here and you're in your present and you continue to thrive, and you have, you try to help people and
And learn.
connect.
And then every day I learn, I learn who I am even more so every day, and it's okay to get shit wrong. It's okay to train wreck. It's okay to say something stupid. Um, and I really appreciate you for allowing me to share my story. You know, it's heavy. I don't relate the way normal people do, and I have a lot of trauma. I play songs when I'm DJing on Twitch, and I fucking cry a lot, and have to like not be on camera and shit like that because music moves me like that.
No, it is. I mean, it's healing. It's, and I think about every song that I play. There's like, you know, and fuck you, Danny. Uh, that's my bro right there in London. Uh, make sure you follow Danny Chaz. God damn it. But the thing that like I think about every single song that I'm playing, I'm talking to somebody. There's always a
You're
lyric
good at
or
it.
something that I try to connect, and even if it's not like where I'm, you know, talking about jump, and then it jumps into, and I think we lost DJ Just Ulysses. Oh, we're back. Are you back? She may be having technical difficulties. Her phone may have died, and we're live, so she'll be right back. So,
Hello?
yeah, you good? All right, hold on. Let's see here. Uh, nah. You might want to rejoin. So while she does that, what we'll do is again, remind we are live. We'll cut this down and edit this out and do what we have to do in the shorts. But again, appreciate everybody. I want to give shout outs to everybody that's here live with us right now. DJ Cuzzo's in the house. We've got my brother Danny Chas in London. He has a podcast that he does every Sunday called the Chilled on Sunday podcast. Make sure you follow him. You can actually talk to your little smart device, whatever her name is, the pronouns or whatever, the spies that they're spying on you. You can say, play the Chilled on Sunday podcast, and it'll play. So there's my plug for Danny. We've got Candacita in the house. She's super dope. She's out of Florida. Both of these folks are my usual suspect brethren, and you can catch her live every Sunday as well. She streams games. There is all types of stuff. Let me get back to.
Sorry.
No, you're good. But like, make sure you follow Candacita. Make sure you follow Midget Mike on Instagram. He does really dope AI art, and he's also on YouTube as well. Make sure you follow all of the folks that are in the chat live, because these people are a tremendous
Good people.
But besides that, I want to say, I mean, these are people that have been with me from the fucking beginning and early on, and have been a humongous support system that they don't even know. And you know, we talked about, you know, suicide and all of these things. Like, you lost 2 siblings to it. And, you know, when I was talking about earlier, when I was at my lowest, you know, I've got a wife and I've got amazing twins. And, you know, that shit's really scary when you start thinking about shit like that. And it's definitely difficult, right? And when you're thinking about it, and that's why fucking music's so important to me. Like, I connect with people through music. Whenever I meet a stranger, I start talking about music just so I can hear, like, what do you like? Who do you listen to? So I can, and then start getting their backstory. And that's how I broach any
And everybody's
conversation.
going through something.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know?
And if you're going through something, there are plenty of lines that are out there. I DJ once a month, men's mental health raid train that's put on by DJ Deuce and Miss Garcia and the Collective family. I'm very
Love them.
appreciative to have that spot and
Very
do that.
special people.
Yes, and you know, mental health is very important. It's not talked about enough, and it has a stigmatism where, like, oh, if you're going to do that, you're weak or whatever.
Yeah.
Nah, fuck that, man, because it's actually the hardest work that you can do if you actually take the shit serious, right? And you are vulnerable enough to start
Vulnerable. That's the word.
really looking at your inner self, and there's different parts of you, and you develop parts to help cope with things that were traumatic at the time. And if over time they become your skill and superpower, but
That.
after a certain point when you grow, they become maladaptive and they start destroying your life.
Yeah.
Because you're no longer in that environment and those situations, but yet you are reacting as if you are, and people are looking at you like, what in the fuck is wrong with you?
That's me. That's me.
Yeah, but that's me too,
Yeah, man. You know, and you
right?
have to go there to get through those dark nights of the soul in
Yes.
order to get, you know, there was a point recently where I was so depressed that I was worried that music wasn't going to give me the same feels that it always has. But then there was a point, and I was sharing with DJ Cuzzo, like, whew, I'm not, I still got it. So, yeah.
Yeah,
And
man.
it's really important to be there for one another. And one of the things that I realized, like, sometimes you have to be a little careful about, you don't have, you can use this community to support you. And also you can, go to a therapist or whatever is good for your health. But it's good for us to all be able to reach out to each other and just be who we really are
Yes.
and not have to pretend, I'm so great or I'm okay when I'm not okay.
Yeah.
And you learn, like, through those processes, you learn, people repel from you when you're really being toxic. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that's when you really have to kind of create and use the tools that help you remember, how to get out of that hole.
Absolutely. What's a song that you use or go to when you try to get out of that, when you're in a funk? What is, or an artist, or like, give me, because I know there's probably a ton like
Right.
me, right? I have every single memory that I have is associated with a song. I can put my albums in chronological order, like that movie High Fidelity, like as life. They're not in alphabetical order. They're in life order, right? But what's one of the artists or songs that you go to and you play to help get yourself out of one of those dark places?
The whole album "Hear My Dear" by Marvin Gaye is
Yes.
literally like my island stranded album. Um, but Stevie Wonder, uh, there's so many. One that you played today, because I tapped in earlier.
Oh,
Um,
thank you, fam.
but so, like, there's so many. Oh my god. On the radio, Donna Summers, The Supremes,
Mm,
Reflections of, I love Nerd, early Pharrell.
yeah.
I love, some of the harder shit, like, uh Public Enemy, 911 is a joke. um
By the time I get to Arizona, of course, Fight the Power, my favorite, the version off of the Do the
so
Right
many.
Thing soundtrack, that version of Fight the Power, it's got just some special energy to it.
Yeah,
There's something else about it than compared to the album cut. It's just like, man, I love that song. It's like when I'm on an angry mood and shit like that, I'll put that fucking song on and be like, let's go,
I
mom.
like angry mood stuff.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm coming from an IEP from the school district, I'll put on, like, Go Dumb, tell me when to go. But you want to hear a fun fact? So
Yeah.
Spike Lee, when he was making that movie with the scene with Rosie Perez
Hmm.
dancing,
Okay.
he fashioned it after Anne Margaret in Bye Bye Birdie.
No shit.
Yeah, I always find that to be interesting.
That is interesting. Wow. You
Yeah,
know,
and I mean, that just goes to show you got the blackest motherfucker doing the righteousest most shit, and Anne Margaret was his fucking inspiration for that.
hey, Spike Lee's a G and a genius, and like
Love him.
I love Spike Lee movies, and I've that hit me, right in the middle school age and high school age, and like that whole thing had a big impression on me and who I am. And you mentioned, R&B. What role does R&B play in your sets compared to hip hop?
Mary J. Blige, Faith, Jill Scott. I mean, R&B is, second to funk. um, it's everywhere. It's all in my shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like strictly hip hop at all. I'll play some Run DMC and some James Taylor, and you know what I'm saying? I'll
Yeah.
play some Frank Sinatra. I'll play motherfucking Elvis Presley. You know what I'm saying?
Isn't
I'm
Twitch fun and
that's
liberating because you don't have to worry about clearing a dance floor? You might clear your chat, but it still is
I'm good
like,
at that too.
it's like, fuck it. I'm going to play this, and this is, you might like it, you might not, but
That's the fun part about being a DJ. Like,
yeah.
I get to play whatever I want.
So
Luckily for everybody, I play good shit.
absolutely, you do. And I have to ask you, so, you have, and you do know a lot of folks, and being around those folks and everything that you were around when you were coming up, and it was during the 90s and you were on your B-girl shit.
Yeah.
You got to share us, like, what's one of your most favorite memories?
Diamond D. Seeing Diamond D in the Potrero Hills at this little hall as in the concert, you know. Um, that was my favorite, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I let me tell you, Diamond D liked one of my posters on Instagram, and it
Yeah.
was like, I could die now. So I don't know, like, mm, I don't think like really. I'm not have like such epic stories about that. Diamond D though was, and okay, so Dougie Fresh too. Dougie Fresh is
You
a
mentioned him
very,
earlier as far as one of your first memories of hip hop.
yeah, I still have my 12-inch, the blue sleeve, the show, and in
With
KGB.
Lottie Dottie on the B side.
Yeah, man. I used to run home from school to listen to that record, and I was in KGB, DJ KGB stream, and I was typing how my most prized possession was my Dougie Fresh 12-inch, and motherfucking Dougie Fresh was in the chat,
Oh shit.
and he bought me a sub to that DJ, and you know
Shout
I
out to
went crazy.
I mean, Dougie Fresh is someone who a lot of performers go, and he coaches hip hop acts and R&B acts or any type of acts on performance and how to control a crowd and stage presence and not just stand in one spot or
He's
walking back and forth
wise.
in pace. He's got so much knowledge in regards to performance and music. It's not just hip hop, and he's more than a beatboxer and all. Like, he does not get his just flowers, and that's another dream interview of mine, to be able to
Yeah.
talk history with Dougie Fresh, because like you said, I've got like at least 7 to 10 copies of that. Because
Oh,
just going through, because
good to know.
I played that shit nonstop, but I still have my first one. My first one is on that shelf, and it's in a plastic sleeve, and it's like, I'm not even, because it's just like, man, I don't want to fuck that up, because it is what it is. You know what it's like, because that one, when I
Yeah,
got it,
I
I
know what
was like,
it's
I
like.
got the
Trust
show.
me.
You put it on, you put that song on back in the day. 6 minutes, 6 minutes,
Epic.
Dougie Fresh. Like, everybody would just be, the crowd would go, they would be there with you, and it's like, let's go, and that was
And
such an
Dougie Fresh is another example of smart, talented, and good heart. You know what I'm saying? Like,
mhm.
I look up to him like a teacher. He's a stroke prevention advocate, and Mark CMT, who was on your
Mhm.
show, he had
Yeah.
dinner at Dougie Fresh's house. That
Wow.
motherfucker's done everything.
I mean, CMT, he like you said, we need part two. Absolutely.
When I was listening, I was like, oh shit, I didn't know all that.
I love it. I do want to make a big shout out. Look, we got Dig'em Smack in the house. I need you guys to follow him too. He's a super dope DJ. Dig'em Smack, I sent you a whisper. I don't know if you check it because I suck at checking whispers too, but I'm trying to get you on here too, fam. I want to interview you. He's out of Alamogordo, New Mexico. He is a war veteran and a Purple Heart.
Thank you for your service.
He went through and he has an amazing story. And I want to talk about, you talk about beautiful people on Twitch. He does a lot for people and just really does have a beautiful spirit and works very hard and is a dope ass DJ. So
I look forward to that.
You better holler at me, Dig'em Smack, because you get a Dig'em Smack for that. Like no,
you get Dig'em slapped.
Yeah. So sorry, no, I got you, bro. Like we're with you. So as we wrap this up, man, I want to know, because you've gone through so much to get here, and you continue to fight every single fucking day and show up and be present, and you wake up and you're like, we're on. You've got your son that you have transitioning to being independent or, out of the house, which is a huge step. And that is something that you should absolutely, and I've got to hit that for you with that, because
thank you.
Being a parent is difficult, and I try to tell my children that, and I say it in a way that they don't say it like my father said it to me. It was like, don't make the same mistake I did, which was me. And I was like, damn. But what I'm saying is that it's one of the most beautiful challenges, because you're responsible for a human life, and at least some folks know that what you put into them, it's gonna grow, right?
It's real unconditional love.
Yeah, and it's
a
sacrifice.
Real expression of knowing what that feels like.
It's sacrifice, but it's such a rewarding thing.
It's love.
And as a mom who's dedicated to your children and also dedicated to helping other people in regards through music, through therapy, and everything it is that you do, advocacy, I want you to leave us with something that,
I know what exactly
what part
I
of the story do you want them to carry with them when they wrap up this thing and they say, okay, this is DJ Just Delicious?
I know exactly what it is. Don't let anybody tell you that you're too old, too young, too female, too male, too gay, too straight, too anything to do anything. You can accomplish anything at any time in your life. I became a DJ at 46. You know what I'm saying? And I was dissed hard for that shit. Like, what the fuck? But who cares? Who cares what anybody thinks? Do what's inside of your soul, and if you get knocked down, try to get up again and do it again tomorrow. And I want to just tell people, like, turn inward to look for answers instead of externally. Mm-hmm. And check out Ghost Boogie on his, epic B-Girl, B-Boy episodes, and you're going to be straight.
I appreciate that, fam. And
Thank you.
Like, I can't say how appreciative I am of you, reaching out, connecting, and how, you and I have linked up and continue to link up, and we're going to stay family too.
We're family.
And just like everybody that's live on Facebook, YouTube,
shout out everybody,
Twitch, Kick, all of y'all. Like, y'all, there's a bunch of people tuned in right now. And
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
I'm grateful for you.
I'm so
So
grateful because you know what happens is, you come into these experiences, COVID happens, blah, 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 and you think you know people and they're your people. And then you realize, like, oh, maybe that's not my people. And you find your people. You know
yes,
what I'm saying? And that's all that I have to say.
absolutely. Hey man, be you. Nobody can be you but you. So keep it positive, keep pushing, keep persevering, and keep it pimping, right? And don't trip on tomorrow, because tomorrow can never come, and you wasted all of that energy worrying about something that doesn't
Exactly.
fucking matter.
Let shit go.
And also the past. Don't let the past kick your ass, right? So all you can do is learn from it and learn, right? And learn and stay in the present. Right here, right now is all you have control of. It's a present. And you're lucky to be alive. It's the
And
odds are
get shit
against you.
wrong. Fuck shit up.
Make
Make,
mistakes.
yeah. Don't win the DJ battle and be disappointed.
Have your controller fucking crash on you 37 times during a goddamn set.
Don't do that.
Nah, because my shit does. Anyway, look, we're raiding out. We're raiding the
Thank
one and
you.
only DJ E Boogie.
Perfect.
And y'all are raiding
Thank
right
you,
now.
everybody.
And YouTube, Kick, everybody, much love. We are B-Boys Underground, and we up out here. Peace.
Peace.
Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share, follow. From my city to your world. We are City World.